이슬람이스트 하마스가 장악하고 있는 가자 지구에서 가장 가까운 이스라엘의 유대인 마을이 스데롯이라고 하죠. 제가 지금 와 있는 곳이 스데롯 마을인데요. 이곳에서부터 약 2km 밖에 안 되는 곳에 가자 지구가 있습니다. 그러다 보니까 성능이 안 좋은 하마스의 로켓포나 미사일이 늘상 떨어지는 곳이 바로 이 스데롯 마을입니다. 그래서 이곳 사람들은 가자 지구에서 로켓포가 날아온다라는 사이렌 소리가 울리면은 15초 안에 방공호로 대피해야 되는데 말이 15초지. 그야말로 이 사이렌 소리가 들리면은 이곳 스데롯 마을 사람들은 그야말로 혼비백산하게 됩니다. 특히 이곳에 살고 있는 어린 아이들은 그야말로 정신적으로 굉장히 많은 고통을 당하고 살아가고 있는데요. 이곳 스데롯 사람들에게 사랑을 전하고 또 부상당한 군인들, 테러리스트들에 의해서 테러를 당한 희생자들을 돕는 우리 메시아닉, 믿는 유대인들의 선교 단체가 있습니다. 핸즈 오브 머시라고 하는 이름의 단체인데요. 오늘은 이 핸즈 오브 머시 단체의 대표이신 야리브 골드만 대표와 함께 이곳 스데롯 사람들이 겪고 있는 이 정신적 고통 얼마나 심각한지, 그리고 그들을 위해서 어떻게 예수의 사랑을 전하고 있는지 그런 이야기를 들어보도록 하겠습니다. 야리브, 이렇게 만나 뵙게 돼서 반갑습니다. Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you. Shalom, shalom.
이곳에서 2km밖에 떨어지지 않은 곳에 아주 가까운 곳에 가자지구가 있어요. 그래서 이제 가자지구에서 미사일을 쏘게 되면은 제일 가까운 데가 이 스데롯인데, 우리가 뉴스나 이렇게 보도를 통해서 이 스데롯으로 뭐 미사일이 떨어지고 막 폭격을 당해서 건물도 무너지고 사람들 막 다치기도 하고 그런다라는 뉴스를 듣고는 했는데, 실제로 어느 정도 이 스데롯 마을로 가자지구에서 미사일이 날아옵니까?
Handed over to the Palestinians, basically to the Hamas, eventually, which was known that that's where it's going to go. They immediately armed themselves with tens of thousands of missiles and began to shoot these missiles. When they shoot them is whenever they want to receive political gain and whenever they want to show their strength and receive recognition. Basically, that's their means of negotiation. So it goes on and off. There are different times a year where it increases significantly, and you could have scores of missiles per day targeting specifically civilian population, innocent civilian population. And on other times, it can be just once, twice a week. Sometimes there's periods of silence, but this is all very calculated to create as much terror and fear in the population, so it will put pressure on the government. Population here has learned to adapt, but there's only a certain measure in which you can adapt psychologically to the fact of unknowing when you will hear the siren, and you know you have a split second to run into shelter. It's not like Tel Aviv where you have a few seconds. Here you have practically no time to prepare. I have been under missile attacks from the north when we had the Lebanese front, and I know the helpless feeling that you get when you're not even sure. You hear the bombings going off and you're not sure where the missile will come from. You're actually trying to calculate, okay, north, south, east, okay, where is the missile coming from? Where is the wall that I need to lean against? And you feel very vulnerable. The feeling of, I'm so vulnerable. I don't even know where the missile is coming from. So you pray, like, okay, Lord, I'm not sure where to lean, where to hide, where is the safest. And if there's no wall nearby, you just have to lay flat on the ground, because that minimizes the risk of being hurt from collateral damage because of the way the missiles explode upwards. But you still feel extremely vulnerable. So in the long run, for children who grow up this way and for adults, especially for the elderly, this will create a psychological damage and post-traumatic syndromes as well.
그렇게 힘들고 어려운데도 굳이 이 유대인들이, 이스라엘 사람들이 좀 멀리 가서 살지, 가자지구 바로 옆에 이 스데롯 마을에서 살고 있는 이유, 살려고 하는 이유는 뭡니까? 어떤 경제적인 이유 때문에 그렇습니까? 아니면 어떤 종교적 신앙심 때문에 이곳에 살고 있는 겁니까?
out of the 26,000 more or less inhabitants of Sderot, you have people here that are from various reasons. Many people, this is because that's where their parents immigrated to. They came to the land, and that's everything they knew. This is what is called home for them. In the city of Sderot, some people don't know this, but there are also many people who were allowed a safe refuge who are from Gaza. The government allowed people from Gaza, Arabs from Gaza who needed for different reasons to escape here and to find a safe place here. Also, they came here, and the state of Israel is helping them and supporting them and giving them protection here. There are also people in the recent years who are refugees from other countries like Sudan, Eritrea, who live here as well. In spite of everything that is happening, which is really an example of the spirit of the Jewish people that returned to the land and immigrated to the land, in spite of what is happening, we will still flourish, we will still grow, we will still prevail. And so you can see that in Sderot.
한국뿐만 아니라 전 세계 많은 나라들도 이스라엘에 이 스데롯이라는 마을이 있는지 잘 몰랐을 겁니다. 그런데 2014년도에 이스라엘하고 가자지구하고 이 군사적 충돌이 일어났을 때 일부 몇 명의 그 스데롯 주민들이 가자지구를 폭격하는 그 장면을 마치 극장에 앉아서 어떤 쇼를 보듯이 그 공격당하는 모습을 보고 굉장히 즐거워했다, 이런 외신 보도가 나오면서 한국 사람들도 그렇고 뭐 전 세계 사람들도 그렇고 어떻게 스데롯 사람들이 그렇게 비정할 수가 있느냐, 이렇게 비난을 많이 했어요. 아마 그런 뉴스 때문에 한국 사람들도 그제서야 이제 스데롯이라는 이스라엘의 마을을 알게 된 것 같은데, 그때 당시에 야리브 씨도 이곳 스데롯 마을에 계셨는지는 잘 모르겠지만 어떻습니까? 이 스데롯 사람들은 그런 그 외신 보도에 대해서 어떤 의견을 갖고 어떤 입장, 또 굳이 얘기하면 어떤 식으로 해명하는지 혹시 들어보신 적이 있는지요?
So I was not here at the time, but this is very common as an Israeli. This is very common. I don't know if your viewers can identify. It could happen to any one of us. Let's say we have attended some event, maybe a political event or some social event, and the media will cover the event, and you will realize this is nothing like what I've seen with my own eyes. Somebody misreported what was happening. For Israelis, this is what is going on always. If we will accidentally flip on the international media, we will be horrified. It seems like fairy tales that have no interaction with reality. Just a bit of true facts, but a lot all around is fabricated. And so the paradigm of the people who live here is that, and it will be unacceptable in any other world, in any other place in the world, they are left defenseless and they are constantly barraged with missiles. Basically their life, the most basic thing, their security for their children. We are always, as a people, one of our symbols is l'chaim, to life, unto life. When we toast, we say unto life. One of our symbols is chai, because we value life over almost any other thing. And so we are always, as a people, saddened when there are civilian casualties in Gaza. You should have seen the Israeli newspapers, our own newspapers, during these times would decry. Our own Israeli newspaper, in a time of war, would also appeal to the government and speak with sadness regarding the casualties of the civilian casualties in Gaza, because this is our attitude. We don't want to see any suffering. People will give their right arm for peace if they really believed that doing so will bring peace between the people of Gaza. And even as a ministry here, we have sent donations all the way to Gaza. We have sent clothing donations all the way to Gaza, in spite of what we receive usually from Gaza, because we are called to love our neighbors.
이스라엘과 관련된 이 뉴스 중에도 참 가짜 뉴스가 전세적으로 많이 퍼져 있다는 게 참 문제인 것 같은데, 어쨌든 이곳에 있는 그 스데롯 사람들 굉장히 정신적으로 육체적으로 힘들어하고 있는 이 상황에서 우리 핸즈 오브 머시 이 단체가 그들을 찾아가서 긍휼 사역을 하고 있단 말입니다. 그 스데롯 사람들에게 예수를 믿는 핸즈 오브 머시 이 단체가 어떤 식으로 그들에게 사랑을 전하고 있습니까?
Hands of Mercy is here. We're trying to make it a beacon of light in as many practical way as we can. For now, we help provide practical needs, such as feeding families that are underprivileged, that have a low monthly income, and we are adding several families each week to the circle of families that are getting a weekly cardboard with food and supplies. Also, we have several days a week where we have a second-hand clothing shop where people can come. Those who can afford it, we charge a few shekels Israeli currency, maybe like $1 per item, shoes, clothing, whatever. And those who cannot afford it will receive it for free. And this is just the beginning. Our main purpose is to bless this city, but make the ministry of interaction with the population, hearing their need and trying to answer the need very easy, streamlined, so we can now begin to replicate this in other cities in Israel. And we already are targeting next the city of Beersheba and the city of Jerusalem.
지금 이 뒤에 있는 게 옷가지들인데, 이 옷들을 보니까 이제 정리가 안 되고 다 이렇게 마대에 담겨져 있어요. 꽤 많은 양 같은데 이 옷들이 어디서 오는 거고, 이제 이 여기로 온 옷들이 어떻게 이제 분류해서 나눠주는 겁니까? 아니면 이 주민들이 옷을 가지러 이쪽으로 오는 겁니까?
Yeah, so behind us we see lots of clothing, as you said, and they are all donated by either local people who come and drop off the donations, or by people overseas who ship us donations. Some are small donations, some are large-scale donations. And the employees that we have here and the volunteers that come and help us clean them up, sort them out, fold them in the clothing shop we have there. Now for the winter we will move it back to the covered space, and they'll make sure it's very easily accessible to the people by size, by age, by type. So the people don't get this, because we want to have the people feel valued and with dignity. They feel like they're actually going into a store. So we wanted to give dignity and honor to the people who really are in need. We worked to make it look like nicer, like a store, and we are actually constantly improving it. So the people feel, I have honor, I have dignity. And for this purpose, we said like some symbolic fee, like $1. And if a person comes, like just before we started filming, you saw these two gentlemen, they came, and they're like, we don't have anything. So obviously, go ahead. You don't have to pay the $1. You can take whatever you need.
그리고 또 핸즈 오브 머시가 하는 일 중에 하나가 이 부상당한 군인들을 또 위로하는 일이라고 하는데, 부상당한 군인들도 여기 참 많이 있죠. 그들에게 어떻게 위로를 해줍니까?
Hands of Mercy has been trying to be there whenever we hear about terror attacks. Many times it will be soldiers. Visit them in the hospital, bring a small basket of whatever things, comforting things, things for the family. And with the knowledge that it is important to be there for the first, let's say, 48 hours, try to be there as fast as possible. And it actually started with the founder of Hands of Mercy, Ishai Reinhardt, who has now passed on. to glory. He knew the significance of trauma, and he knew that people in trauma needed a helping hand and an embrace, and even the simplest show of willingness to help. So he actually started this about 12 years ago in Jerusalem, when we had lots of suicide bombings in Jerusalem. He, when that front over there dwindled off because of the new security measures that Israel has taken, and we saw that there were much more need. He saw that there was much more need here in the south. He moved the ministry from Jerusalem here to Sderot. Our desire is to get as many believers in the land, as many Messianic believers in the land involved in this, because it's not just the front here in Sderot. So we want to be able to have the manpower and the volunteers all over Israel to be able to be known as first responders.
물론 뭐 이 스데롯이라는 마을로 관광객들이 올 리는 별로 없겠지만은 이 스데롯에 있는 핸즈업머시 이 사역 단체를 방문해서 기도해주고 또 이렇게 자원봉사로 같이 일해주고 이런 분들이 외국에서 오기도 합니까?
Yes, there have been many volunteers throughout the years, and even as soon as I entered the management role here, I've begun to receive the emails. There are different ministries who come and visit Sderot. Different ministries work directly with the municipality of Sderot, donating different items to make the population happy. And we ourselves as a ministry get volunteers to come here. Some come just for a one-day visit, and some come after an application process to stay as long as their visa permits them. And we have different jobs from them, all the way from the garden, sorting, folding clothes, working with delivering diapers to the families or food to the families, all the way to helping us with the office, with administrative work. Yes.
우리 브래드TV 시청자들이 이스라엘의 이 스데롯 가자지구 바로 옆에 있는 스데롯 주민들을 위해서 기도한다면, 그리고 또 이 핸즈업머시 사역단체를 위해서 기도한다면 어떤 기도를 해드리는 게 좋을까요?
For the residents of Sderot, I would definitely, as well as for other parts of Israel, I would recommend to pray in the spirit that God will guide your prayers, and to pray for protection, to pray as we are commanded in the scripture for wisdom, for the leadership of the country to know how to handle this crisis in the southern border and the upcoming crisis in the northern border, according to God's counsel, according to God's advice, according to God's desire to protect and to bless His people, because we know how important wisdom for leadership is, and we are directly commanded. If the leadership will act wisely, the people here will experience more prosperity and more protection. So I will focus on wisdom for the leadership and continued protection. We need to continue to pray for protection. At the same time, I would ask for prayers to be offered for this ministry, but for all other ministries in the land, that we will have wisdom how to use places like this, which is an access point into society for the gospel, for really pointing the hearts of the people back to the God of Israel. That we will have an anointing and wisdom how to use these access points, not just to satisfy them with food or with clothing, but that will bring them to the one who wants to clothe them with the garments of salvation and wants to truly give them beauty for ashes.
우리가 보통 이스라엘을 위해서 기도한다고 할 때 예루살렘을 위해서 기도하는 일들이 참 많죠. 그러나 이스라엘에는 예루살렘뿐만 아니라 이스라엘 전국 구석구석에 곳곳에 많은 유대인들이 있고, 또 그 유대인들을 향해서 예수의 복음을 전하는 또 우리 메시아닉 유대인들이 있습니다. 스데롯도 그런 마을 중에 하나죠. 우리가 그동안 스데롯 하면은 잘 몰랐고, 또 인터넷에다가 스데롯이라고 이렇게 검색을 하면은 아까 말씀드렸던 이 스데롯 시네마, 이 가짜 뉴스의 바탕으로 한 그런 이야기들만 나와서 부정적인 이 기사들만 검색이 되는데, 사실 이 스데롯에 있는 사람들이 겪고 있는 그 많은 정신적 트라우마, 이거를 치유해주기 위한 또 이렇게 핸즈 오브 머시 선교 단체가 있다라는 것을 여러분들이 좀 기억을 해 주셨으면 좋겠습니다. 아마 이 스데롯 마을에서 사역하고 있는 핸즈 오브 머시 단체의 이 소식들을 전하는 데는 아마 대한민국에 브래드TV밖에 없을 것 같아요. 앞으로도 계속해서 이 스데롯에서 활동하고 있는 핸즈 오브 머시의 이 사역 일들을 저희가 알릴 수 있는 한도 내에서 계속 알려드리고요. 또 기도 제목도 요청드리겠습니다. 여러분들이 관심을 갖고 기도해 주셨으면 좋겠습니다. 야리보, 오늘 이렇게 귀한 시간 내주시고 스데롯 마을이 갖고 있는 여러 가지 아픔들, 또 기도 제목 이야기해 주셔서 고맙습니다. 귀한 시간 내주셔서 고맙습니다.